So now we know what a denial of service attack is. Okay. So we just read a few points about that. But that is not a thing. A denial of service DOS attack is a type of cyber attack in which an attacker aims to make a website, server, or network unavailable to its intended user by overwhelming it with traffic or flooding it with requests. Denial of service attacks can take many forms and have different goals, but they are all aimed at disrupting the normal functioning of a target system. In this report, we will discuss the different types of DOS attacks, their impact, and the measures that can be taken to mitigate and prevent them. And after that, we will see one demo of DOS attack. So first of all, what are the types of DOS attacks we have? Volume-based attacks. This attack aims to flood the target system with a high volume of traffic, making it unavailable to its user. This can be accomplished through various means, including UDP flood, ICMP floods, and amplification attacks. Second one, we have protocol-based attacks. These attacks exploit vulnerabilities in the protocol that are used to establish connection between two devices or servers. Example of protocol-based attacks include synchronized floods, that is SYN floods, ping of death attacks, and Smurf attacks. Application layer attacks. The third one. These attacks target the application layer of a system, overwhelming it with requests and causing it to crash or become unresponsive. Examples of application layer attack include HTTP flood, slow loris attacks, and DNS reflection attacks. And now the impact of DOS attacks. The impact of the DOS attack can be severe and far reaching. The primary impact is the disruption of normal functioning of the targeted system, which can result into significant financial loss of business, loss of credibility, and reputational damage. Loss of credibility and reputational damage, and the potential exposure of sensitive data. Additionally, DOS attacks can be used as a smokescreen for other attacks, such as data theft or malware installation. So next step we have mitigation and prevention. There are several measures that can be taken to mitigate and prevent DOS attacks. These include implementing firewalls and intrusion detection systems to monitor network traffic and detect abnormal traffic patterns, ensuring that all software and firmware on systems are updated and patched regularly to prevent vulnerabilities from being exploited. Implementing load balancers and other traffic management systems to distribute traffic across multiple servers and prevent any one server became overwhelmed. Using CDN, that is content delivery networks, to cache the distributed content across multiple servers, reducing the load on any one server, limiting the amount of traffic that can be sent to a system from any one IP or network to prevent flooding. So what are the conclusion of this? Denial of service attack can have significant impacts on businesses and organizations, disrupting normal operation and potentially causing significant financial and reputational damage. By understanding the different types of DOS attacks and implementing measures to mitigate and prevent them, businesses can better protect themselves from this type of cyber threats. Now let's come to the demo of DOS attack. So here we have one small web server that is running and it hosts some web application. So I'm trying to open this DVWA folder from here. So yeah, so this is the damn vulnerable web application. So it's a demo website. So this demo website is currently hosted on this IP, and this IP is a consist of web server. This identify as a web server. So right now we can access this thing. Okay. This thing is now working. Okay. Now we launch a DOS attack on this particular website. So I'm providing the IP of this web server and the port number. Here the port number is 80 because this website is running on port 80, and this is a not secure connection. That is HTTP. Now I initiate the attack. Now as you can see, it starts flooding the system. So when I try to access the website again, see, it takes forever to load because right now the DOS attack is happening on this website. See, it is not loading here. So the moment I stop this attack from my terminal, it start loading. So I'm stopping this attack. See, now it loads. Now we will see one demo of brute force attack. So for that, I need to open my burp suite. So burp suite is nothing but a tool that is used to intercept web requests. So here we have one functionality that is username and passwords. So what are brute force attacks are really? So brute force attacks are a type of cybersecurity attack that attempts to crack a password or encryption key by trying every possible combination of characters until the correct one is found. This is done by automated software program that can generate and test millions of password combinations per second. Brute force attack can be used to target various types of systems, including online accounts, servers, databases, and network devices. These attacks can be carried out using different methods, including dictionary attacks. So this method uses a list of commonly used passwords or words found in a dictionary to try and guess the correct password. Hybrid attacks. This method combines directory attacks with random character generation to create a more complex set of possible passwords. Rainbow attack tables. This method used pre-computed tables of hashes and their corresponding password to speed up the cracking process. Credential stuffing. This method involves using a set of known usernames and password from a data breach to attempt to gain access to other accounts where the user has used the same login information. So brute force attacks can have severe consequences, including unauthorized access to sensitive information, data breaches, and financial losses. To prevent these attacks, it is essential to implement strong passwords and encryption methods that are resistant to brute force attacks. Some best practices for preventing brute force attacks include using long and complex passwords that include a mix of uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters. Implementing multi-factor authentication to add an additional layer of security to login credentials. Limiting the number of login attempts allowed to prevent attackers from trying unlimited password combinations. Regularly updating software and application to ensure they have the latest security patches and bug fixes. Monitoring network traffic and logging login attempts to identify and respond to potential brute force attacks quickly. In conclusion, brute force attacks can pose a significant threat to security of systems and data. It is crucial to implement strong password and other security measures to prevent this type of attacks from succeeding. Now we come to the demo part. For now, I have to click on next, start burp, and wait for a few moments. Before that, I need to enable my proxy from here. I will show you the detailed configuration of these tools in the later part. So the burp suite is now working. I've come to the proxy tab and I'm have to go again to the website. Here I don't know anything about the username and the password. I typed anything and try to log in. Obviously it was a false credential, so that's why I was not able to log in and it says the login failed. But here in the burp suite I captured the request of post. See, here the method is post here and this is the request I have captured right now. So see, I right click into the request part and send to the repeater. So the repeater tab repeat the request again and again. So here we have the parameters right here. There is username, there is password and login. So I'm sending from this. The response is 302 found. So when we got the things correct, I got 200 found. That means the login is accepted. But here that is not the case. So I have to send it to the repeater and then to the intruder. I have to clear all payload markings and I have to add username as payload marker and add password. So how this will help us into brute force attack? So from that I have to attack type as cluster bomb because the payload number is 2. Now come to the payload section. Now in the first part the payload set 1 and the payload type is simple list and I have to paste all possible combination of password that I can think. For the sake of the success, I am putting the correct credential at last. That is admin in the first part. And for the second payload marking, I have to select the payload type set 2, then paste the list I have. And for the sake of demo, I am typing the correct credential at the last and I am adding it. And I am starting the attack. So see, it is brute forcing for me right now. At the very first request, I can see it puts the username 123456 and the password 123456 and try to log in. And the response, I found nothing. So this is how brute force works. It is trying every possible passwords with every possible usernames. I forgot to add admin in the payload set 1. So for that I have to type, or let's say we can change the attack type here from battery RAM and we can start the attack. The various possible combinations and attack types we have here. So we saw a demo on how brute force attack works. Now let's come to the social engineering thing. So now we will see what a social engineering attack looks like. So first of all, let's start with the introduction. So social engineering is a type of cyber attack where an attacker uses psychological manipulation and deception to trick people into divulging sensitive information, installing malware, or taking other actions that are not in their best interest. Social engineering attacks rely on the attacker's ability to persuade or influence a victim to perform an action that benefits the attacker. So, types of social engineering attacks. First one, we have phishing attacks. Phishing attacks involve the use of emails or messages that appear to be from legitimate sources, such as banks, social media sites, or other trusted organizations. The messages are designed to trick the victim into clicking on a link or downloading an attachment that contains malware, allowing the attacker to gain access into the victim's system. Spear phishing attacks. Spear phishing attacks are similar to phishing attacks but are more targeted. The attacker researches the victim and creates a message that appears to be from a trusted source that the victim would be likely to respond to. Pretexting. Pretexting involves creating a fake scenario to gain access to sensitive information. For example, an attacker might call a victim pretending to be a member of the IT department and ask for the victim's login credentials. Baiting. Baiting involves annexing a victim with a free offer, such as a USB drive that contains malware. Watering hole attacks. Watering hole attacks involve targeting a specific group of people by compromising a website that the group is known to frequent. The attacker then installs malware on the compromised site that infects the system of the visitors to the site. Tailgating. Tailgating involves following an unauthorized person into a secure area, such as an office building or server room without permission. So, what are the impacts of it? Social engineering attacks can have severe consequences, including financial loss, reputation damage, and loss of sensitive data. Victims of social engineering attacks may have their bank account drained, their credit scores impacted, or their personal information exposed. Businesses that fall victim to social engineering attacks may suffer from data breaches, loss of customer trust, and legal consequences. Preventing social engineering attacks. Preventing social engineering attacks requires a combination of technical solutions, policies, and training. Technical solutions such as firewall, intrusion detection system, and anti-malware software can help detect and prevent attacks. Policies such as restricting access to sensitive information and requiring strong passwords can also help prevent social engineering attacks. Training employees on how to recognize and respond to social engineering attacks can also be effective. Conclusion. Social engineering attacks are a common and growing threat in today's digital world. Understanding the different types of social engineering attack, their impact, and how to prevent them is essential for individuals and organizations to protect themselves from these type of attacks. By implementing technical solutions, policies, and training, individuals and organizations can reduce the risk of falling victim to social engineering attacks. Now we will see how this type of attack works. Here we are using one tool named Zfisher. Here we are creating a traditional Facebook login page and we host it on our local server. So right now it is hosted on our server. As you can see from here, it is exact a replica of Facebook login page. Let me turn off the proxy first so it will load faster for me. See, no one can detect any difference between a real login page and a fake login one. The only difference here is it is hosted on my local server. So here is a type of link that can be sent to anyone. You can trick the victim and let him enter their credentials. So I can do whatever we want with the credential like A, B, C, D. So right now I'm putting credentials here and the password here and log in. So after clicking on login, see, it's successfully able to capture the account and the password here. See, ABCD and ABCD. So that's the thing here. So after clicking logged in, it redirect me to the official Facebook login page. So the victim can never be understand what happens to his account. So this is an example, not example, this is a classic example of phishing links, type of social engineering attacks.